Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. This is a piece of content that I have really wanted to make for a while. Today we're going to have a look at the Suunto Core. One of the best, one of the most well-respected outdoors military style watches that there is, and for so many good reasons. So let's turn the camera around and take a closer look at the Suunto Core. So here we have the Suunto Core. Now this is the all black version. There are a few different models. Some of them have slightly different bezels. Some of them are made from different materials. You can get all metal ones. This one's constructed from a really tough polymer resin style on the actual case back. And then it has an aluminium bezel all the way around, which is omnidirectional, mainly because you can use this for your compass settings if you're using it for that. Metal buttons around the outside. As far as the measurements are concerned, it comes in at roughly 50 millimeters. It's a perfectly spherical face. I think it's 49.5 millimeters by 15 millimeters deep. So it has a commanding presence. When it's on your wrist, it is a good size. If you're the type of person that shies away from a large watch on your wrist, then you might find that this is one of those that you'll probably not want. When it's on my wrist, I can close it and there's still plenty of length left in the strap, and you get two strap keepers. While I'm talking about the strap, before we go into the features, let's just quickly mention the strap. So the straps on these are notoriously just a bit naff, let's say. They do tend to break across these joints. Now, I've actually owned 3 of these over the years. The reason that I've owned 3, it's not necessarily I've got rid of them because I didn't like the watch. Unfortunately, as you know, as life is, I've needed to pay bills, we've had children, got married, all of that sort of stuff, and pride and stuff doesn't feed my family. So this is the 3rd one that I've owned, and I've come back hopefully, and I'll be keeping this. But I think both of them, the strap failed on me, and I replaced the strap. There are some excellent third-party straps out there. Now, this being the 3rd one, it does feel as though they've changed. They've mixed up the whatever this resiny plasticky material is that they've changed. It does feel a little bit tougher, so it's probably one to maybe test out. If anybody has tried it and if it does feel like it's a different strap, then I'd love to hear down in the comments. Also, they're notorious for the strap keepers from breaking. They've started to include 2 strap keepers, which is great. Plus, when it arrives, you also get an additional 2 strap keepers in the box. So I think someone at Suunto somewhere has, that's a few S's. Someone at Suunto somewhere has realised that they have an issue with the straps, and it does look like they've tried to update that. But yeah, it's the strap's okay. You just have to be careful with it, or what I would say is just replace it, because there's some great straps out there. Now, getting back to the face, it is a mineral crystal display, or at least a mineral crystal lens on the front, which does a very good job of letting light in, and I'm trying to keep it out of the sun like that because maybe, yeah, okay, I'll say I'm a bit of a hypocrite when it comes to stuff, especially recently. I've reviewed a few watches with negative displays, and they've not really worked that well. I will say that this negative display works exceptionally well. Although it's very reflective when you look at it like this, viewing it how I'm looking at it here from different angles, it's very easy to be able to see during the day. In lower lights, it's still okay. If you're trying to look at this in the dark, it's just nigh on impossible. But there is a light here which will illuminate the full screen. Hopefully you'll be able to see. So around the bezel, you've got north at the top. You also have 2 lume points here. Again, just in case you are maybe there's a mountain or there's something that you've set north to, so that you know where your bearing is always going to be. It just helps again. Completely, there's quite a good click to it. Let's see if we can bring this up here. See if we can. Nah, you can't really hear it that well, but it does have a nice positive click as it goes round, but it's also relatively smooth as well. On the front of the screen here, hopefully you'll be able to see that we have the time, and then underneath there we have today's date. It's Sunday, and filmed quite a bit today. It's been quite a productive day. But you can change, so some of the features on here you can change. Now the time itself will always stay there, but this little window here at the bottom, using the button here, you can go through different options. So here you have seconds, but you also have a little second movement. Let's see if we can find it, that just goes around the screen, which is really nice. But if you wanted to know the exact seconds, then you can have the seconds on there. Press it again and you've got a dual time. So in the settings you can set a dual time. Also have sunrise and sunset, and I will show you how you can set that so it knows roughly where you are to give you that information. We then have a stopwatch. You can start and stop to go through the stopwatch. There's a countdown timer as well. It's set at 5 minutes for now, but you can be very specific on what that timer needs to be, or you can just have it all turned off, so you just have the time there in the middle, and then we've gone back round again. This is an ABC watch. ABC stands for altimeter, barometer and compass. So at the moment, if you can see here, we're on the time setting, but in the middle there we have altimeter and barometer. So you can press the button here on the side. I thought I pressed the wrong button then for a second, but I hadn't. It will keep the current time at the top, so you can see that, and it will tell you roughly how many meters you are above sea level. Now I haven't set this, so it works off the pressure of the air around you rather than GPS or it knowing exactly where you are. If you know that you're at a certain height, you've gone up a mountain and you know that you're at exactly 380 meters, then you can set it so it'll go, right, where I am now, this is 380 meters. I'm currently about 150 meters above sea level, so it does need to be recalibrated, but it's very simple to do. Then here down at the bottom, it currently has the temperature on there, but you can also cycle through this window using this button again, and it will take you through some different options. So the first one is log. So if you're out on a walk and you want to log your inclination and how high or low you're going. So again, if maybe you set that you're at a certain point and then you walk somewhere else, it will give you that information, or at least you can log it. And then you can also set your meters as well. So if you want to know when you've gone up 100 meters, then you can add those to it as well, and then it will go back round to temperature. I just generally keep mine on the temperature. If you press the side button again, you will then go to compass. So the compass works really well. I will say, as far as compasses or digital compasses that I've used on other ones before, it's great. So you have your bearings, and then down in the bottom on that little panel, you can either turn that off, you can have the time on there, or you can have south, southwest, and so on. Now, if I turn this round, I know that my house roughly faces east, northeast, and it does a very good job. You can also recalibrate this as well. If you think that it's off, then we'll go through the options in a moment, and you can see exactly how you can recalibrate that. And then if you press it again, you'll go back to the normal timekeeping mode. Try and keep this in the light for you, so I do apologise. It's quite a sunny day today. Now, as I mentioned, so I will take you quickly through the settings. To get into the settings, you use the button here at 3 o'clock. If you hold that down, you'll see that we're now in the settings. So it's up and down. That will then confirm or move you forward, and then this button here will move you back. So as far as the memory settings are concerned, this is where you can get some of those logs as far as your altimeter, and then any sort of intervals or stops that you've done that you just want to log as part of a walk. Under date and time, as you probably expect, so you can set an alarm on this, which is great. Your countdown timer, so to come or to change the countdown time that you saw on that front screen, you do have to come into the settings to do that. It is kind of an extra step. It would be awesome if you could change it on that front bit, but it's not a particularly difficult process to do. Time, as far as your timer is concerned, very simple to set. Dual time, again, very easy to do. And then your date on here, you can set your date and then you can go through those as well. Let's go back again. Now, sunrise and sunset, it does need to know roughly where you are in the world. So if I click on this now, so I have mine set Europe. I have it set because, well, I'm in Europe. But you can choose for different locations. It's set that I'm in Western Europe. You could be either in Northern, Southern, Eastern Europe, or I'm in Western Europe. And then my closest city is actually Manchester in Great Britain. So what it will do is, okay, it might be a minute or two out, but it will be very close. So if you're in North America and you're on the West Coast and you're in, say, LA, then you can set it through the larger geographical region and then kind of squeezing it down to find out exactly where you are. Altimeter, barometer, again, so reference points. If it is, so as I mentioned, I know that I'm roughly about 165, yeah, it is 165, so I think I said 150 before. Well, what you can do is if you know that you're at a certain height, then you can go into your reference and you can set it from that, which will make it more accurate. Compass, again, you can, I suppose in here, if you want to set any declination, you need to turn that either due west or due east. You can do that here as well. And then you can also, actually I'm not going to go into recalibration, because when you go into recalibration you just have to hold it still and turn the watch around, but sometimes you do it first time, sometimes it takes you 10 times. It's a little characteristic that this watch has. General, all you got your button tones, backlight, how long your backlight wants to be, and then the language, and then at the bottom you have your units on here. So time, because I'm an adult, not a child, then I keep it in 24 hours. Date and time, or at least on this you can set whether you want it to be date, month, or you can set it the opposite way so that you have it month, date. Temperature, whether you're Fahrenheit or Celsius, air pressure, altitude, I've got mine in meters, so on and so forth, and then eventually you can get back to the front. It's not that difficult to use once you get used to it. The beauty of this is just that large display with the numbers in there. Fortunately, it is very reflective here, but the vast majority of the time when this is on your wrist and you turn it up so that you can see it perfectly, it's very easy to be able to read this display. If you're somebody that does struggle with your eyesight and do prefer larger digits on the screen, I can highly recommend this. Now, I forgot, there was one thing on there. Sorry, in the altimeter barometer bit, there is also an additional feature that I do use regularly. I don't keep it on there all the time because it does drain the battery a little bit. But there is a rain warning, so if the pressure drops very quickly, an alarm will go off, and it has saved me from getting wet on quite a few occasions where I've just got back to the car. The last little thing that I did want to touch on the back here, which I completely forgot before, was this back panel. So it has a stainless steel back to this, and this is one of the reasons why this watch is loved so much. Yes, you have your ABC function on here. The battery itself lasts kind of between 12 to 18 months. You can get 2 years out of it if you're not using some of the features as much. But if you did want to change your battery with no tools, all you need is maybe a coin or something in there. You can take the back off and you can replace the battery yourself. So if you are a big outdoors person and you want to make sure that you're constantly going to be able to make sure that you've got batteries for this, then it's really good for that sort of stuff. Having spoke to military servicemen and women that have this watch when they've been away for however long time and they've not realized that their battery is maybe coming to the end, the ability to be able to change that battery whilst they're out in the field, whilst they're back at base, again has, you know, really helped. Now hopefully that's helped to give you a little bit more understanding as to just what you're really getting from the Suunto Core. It really is a watch that a lot of people over the years have trusted. Now, it's not perfect, but I don't think there's any watch or piece of equipment out there that is perfect. Its main downside is the band, but when I bring reviews out like this, I generally like to show you them how they arrive out of the box. But there are some very good third-party straps that you can get for these. Maybe I'll make a future piece of content on just how easy and simple it is to replace those. The vast majority that you see of these, generally they have changed the straps. But other than that, you know, it's just a great watch that really does take a beating. You probably see a lot of people that have these and are big style military or adventurers. You'll see that the front gets scuffed up, but it honestly they just keep on ticking. This digital watch doesn't keep. Well, you get me, bruv. So what I'll do is I'll leave a link below so that you can see more from the Suunto Core. I'll also leave some of Suunto's social media links. I'll also leave some of my social media links so you can see more from me here on Moorlander EDC, on my sister channel Moorlander Tactical. But for now, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Oh. Yeah, there we go. So hopefully that's helped to give you, it's very clicky, it's very military style, or orienteering. Let's go and do some orienteering, shall we? With lashings and lashings of cream and custard. Chicken! Where were we? We're here, in the Kingdom of the Moorlands. Land of the Moorlandese, home of people from the Moorlands. Well-respected outdoors watchers there is. So let's turn the camera. Chicken! Oh, hey! Here's I got a special badge the other day. I've been kind of shadow banned on Instagram, so they will not now show my content to people who do not follow me. So now is the best time to go and find me on Instagram, Moorlander_EDC, so that you can see the disgusting and atrocious content that I put about watches and knives and bags and just kind of everyday stuff that now is offensive. That's the world we live in. So yes, Moorlander_EDC on Instagram. Yes, discriminated against because I have a different hobby or pastime to the norm. That's a good one for you. Oh, do I get to claim that I'm victim now? Yes. Power to the victims. Peace. Let's do the actual bit.